So we got basketball, we got baseball, and we got CFL. A lot of things up in the air today. But we're going to Toronto right now. Former Argonauts and Alouettes receiver Brad Smith joins us on behalf of the Canadian football. There he is, looking good. Bachelor contestant. How can you tell? Brad,
let's not remember that one, okay?
Okay, no problem. Obviously, you're not here to talk about that. You're here to talk about the big announcement this morning, Try Football with the Canadian Football League. What can you tell our viewers?
All right, well, the Try Football campaign, first of all, just grateful to the CFL for being a part of it, because if anybody followed my career, that makes about one. It was a great grassroots program to get into, because it's all about where you end up and not how you got there. And what we're trying to do here is get football out to as many of the next generation of football fans as we can, especially in Canada. And the Try Football program, you go on tryfootball.ca and put in your postal code. It's allowing parents to see where in their communities and where they can get access to grassroots local organizations. And we're not talking about just contact football. We're talking about flag football, touch football, how to get football in the hands of the next generation of hopefully CFL fans.
I read the news release this morning, and I think some of us that have been around a while kind of take for granted that you think that it's out there, and it's not as out there as we'd like it to be. And they feel that this program is going to hit millions of Canadian kids.
Well, it is. It's going to be coast to coast, and we've partnered with the Physical and Health Education Canada to promote this, giving teachers the resources they need to teach the next generation. As we know, the most important people for our kids and the younger generation outside of the family unit is the teachers. They've come up with the resources to educate, to promote, and to help get footballs into the next generation of fans. And not only because people look at me and they say, well, why is Brad Smith the Try Football ambassador? Because my career in the CFL was filled with benches all over the league. And essentially, it's because football was such an important part of my family and who I am and my identity. My father, Larry Smith, ran the CFL as commissioner in '91, took over the Alouettes. My family, with my uncles, my brother-in-law, Damon Duval, sorry, Saskatchewan fans, he was the kicker who missed the field goal.
Thanks, Brad.
But we've been employed by the CFL for over 50 years as a family. So, it means so much to us. And I just want kids to go through the non-linear journey like I did. My first actual contact game, I was in grade 12. So we're not telling you to go out there and enroll your kids into contact football. Just get a football in their hand. Remember that feeling when you were a kid of just going out, tossing the ball around and having fun, and the social aspects that come with it.
That's cool. That's one of the big things that I've noticed about that's changed is unless you were in, Regina or Saskatoon, there was no football until high school. So it's kind of the same idea here. But how much has the game changed? Because now it's all about the education. It's all about doing it right. Safety is such a big part. And as Len Antonini mentioned yesterday, it's a safer game than it's ever been.
Well, that's. And it needed to come. I when I played in high school through university to the CFL, and in the 7 years since I've left the CFL, it's dramatically changed. Training camps, less pads, less hitting, less contact, more importance on form, and that's transmitted and permeated into the younger generation, teaching kids how to tackle properly at an earlier age, giving them the information they need. But listen, injuries are going to happen whatever sport you play in, and the direction the CFL and the NFL and football in general has gone is quite amazing, because you have to protect the commodity players, and you have to promote to the next generation that this is, as all sports are, they have risks, but the risks are being looked after. They're being hopefully being mitigated towards a future of protecting the players, because listen, if you don't have the players to play the game, you don't have anything at the end of the day.
Just give me an example.
CFL Ambassador Brad Smith with us this morning on the Try Football Initiative. It's expanded. It's a 5-year deal, and very proud of you for what you're doing and for the CFL for doing this. I would tell families and kids to be on the lookout for the Try Football hashtag in your area, advertisements, and go Try Football. And lastly, Brad, I would assume you're like me. My dad was a Stanley Cup champion. I got asked every single day, how's your dad? How's your dad? I never got tired of being asked, how's your dad? So I'm going to ask you, how's your dad?
Oh my God. That's one of the things. I just got chills, actually. I know that's weird, because I grew up with my dad was my hero. I remember walking. A large part of why I did this was because of the Argos and the Eskimos. But I've always been an Alouettes fan, diehard. My dad still to this day bleeds Alouettes blood. We grew up, and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you had I not been for that great man. So he's in the Senate trying not to fall asleep and steal taxpayers' money. I'm kidding. My dad's been really since he's been in the Senate, embraced it. He's the leader of the opposition in the Senate now, and then hopefully not that I'm being political here, but if the Conservatives take over, and there's not a better person to have in charge of looking after policy than a guy who literally has the cleanest slate of any human being I know, and a guy who's literally the most genuine, amazing person that I've met. So.
Yeah, he is, and I tell you what, I hope that we see you lots in this role with the CFL. Thanks for coming on this morning, and enjoy the game tonight if you're going.
Yes, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.